Hello everyone, welcome to story time. It's late at night, it's like 10:30 on a Friday, and it's time for you guys to, well, walk around the car and listen to music, and I'll be right back with you. Welcome. Story time. This story time is brought to you by, well, today, Rob and I were working on his S10, and it came up, we were messing around with stuff, and fuel pumps and all that kind of stuff, and don't know what this is. And it turned out that it reminded me of a story. I don't know if I told you guys this or not, so I'm going to tell it to you now. This is a story about one of the worst comeback projects I ever had to deal with at a shop when I worked at a shop. And it was me and 6 AC Delco fuel pumps that I replaced on the same vehicle in, I think, less than 2 weeks. I want to say like 8 or 10 days. Anyway, so this is like early 2000s, late 90s. I'm working on like a 94 or 5 Chevy pickup, throttle body, fuel tank, standard AC Delco tank, pump in the tank. I think it was a 94, so it was a low pressure one in the tank. Truck's no start. I go out there with a hammer and I bang on the tank, hit the key, pump turns on, fires up. So I drive around inside, short wide bed, 4-wheel drive. I lift it up, tank's full of fuel, so I have a little electric click-clack pump and I siphon it into a big tank, a big like 55-gallon drum on wheels we had at the shop, and I use that, pull the fuel into it. I'm done with that, and I pull the tank out and I pull the pump. I always test the pump, so I didn't have a power probe. I had something else. I made my own little jumper starter thing, and I test it, and it's like crunching and grinding, and it quits. So that's fine. Get rid of it. Order a brand new AC Delco pump, because at that time, the shop, we were an AC Delco rep shop. So we had AC Delco parts. So we put this AC Delco, brand new AC Delco pump in it, fire the truck up, drive around, put it out front, done. Truck leaves that night. Next day, it comes back on tow truck. Literally the next day. The boss, and of course everybody else in the shop is like, ooh, you got a comeback. You never get comebacks, ooh. And I was like, what's the issue? And they're like, no start. Same problem. I was like, impossible. I go out there, hit the key, nothing. Bang on the tank, nothing. I was like, well, I cleaned the grounds in the frame. I made sure the pigtail was good for the wires. There's no melts. There's no blown fuse. I had the guys help me push around back, put it in the garage. I lift it up, pull the tank out, check it. Pump's dead in the tank. Pull it out of the tank, check it there on the bench. It does nothing. I bang on it, hit it, and it sounds like it's crunching rock. Starts smoking. And I was like, this pump is junk. And the foreman in the shop's like, yep, I'll get you another one. So it gets me another AC Delco pump. I put it in that truck, take it out there, ready to go. I start a couple times, everything's fine. Guy takes the truck. 2 days later, comes back on tow truck, same problem. By this time, I've got pretty much I've got it down to like a button and a couple zippers, and I can have that tank out and the pump out. So I pull it out, same thing. Test it right there on the bench. This thing makes the same gravel crunching noise, and it stops. It seizes up right there, smoking. So that's 3 pumps now. And I tell my shop foreman, like, you need to get a hold of these guys at AC Delco and figure out what's going on, because I think they got a run of bad pumps. They tell him no way, no problem. This goes on, like literally I put a new pump in it, it goes out there, it sits in the parking lot, the guy comes to pick it up, hits the key, and it won't even start in the parking lot. We push it back around, pull it out, that new pump is bad. And then I finally get one, it's gone over the weekend, it comes back next morning, or Monday morning, I show up, and the truck's sitting in the parking lot again. Another bad pump. By this time, the customer has had 5 pumps in it, including the one in this truck. I told my foreman, I said, I don't care where you get this pump from, just give me something that's not AC Delco. So he does some research. Turns out AC Delco made a run of like 10,000 pumps that were bad. And I said, well, I can tell them where at least 6 of them are. But they ended up in like new vehicles on the shelves, just a series of them that were bad. So they're out there. These pumps are bad. But that job and that issue, and like talk about thinking I was going nuts, and having the shop and the boss lose confidence in you. But the customer is the one that suffered the most. He was like, how can this be? Are these guys really, are they really taking my money and putting old parts back into it? He would never believe me. In fact, I'm pretty sure we lost that guy for good. That guy would never go back to that shop. But he never believed that we actually put the new pump in it, even though we showed him the old pumps. He was thinking this is like a bait and switch thing, I'm sure. But man, oh man, like, I've had a few cars in my life that I can think of, a few jobs that really made me question whether I can like do this, because at that point in my life, like working on cars and things like that were second nature to me, like breathing, and they just really made me question it. So that had nothing to do with what we were doing today, but the fuel pump thing came up. We were just talking about stuff like that, and I thought, well, I'll just share this story with you guys. But it had a good ending. I finally put a pump in there. I think was like a Carter or something else, and that thing, I don't know if the truck died the next day or not, but that guy definitely didn't bring that thing back. He was sick and tired of it, although he only paid for it once, and I only got paid for the job once. I did all the rest of those jobs for free. That's another reason I don't do flat rate work. But anyway, that was that story time. Really had nothing to do with anything. There's my lava lamp, and that has a 4-speed. But the reality is I worked with Rob all day on his S10, and I took the original harness out of that truck that we swapped it from, the van. It's like a 2005 GMC Savannah van or whatever. It's got a 6-liter in the truck now in the 4080, and I made a harness for it. So I installed the PCM, and I was going through and trimming the harness back, and he installed the electrical pedal, the fly-by-wire pedal, and I just shortened the harness and was making stuff and put the factory DLC connector in the dash and that kind of stuff. So anyway, has nothing to do with really any of that stuff, but that's what I was doing today. Monday, well, I'm surfing this weekend, so don't even ask if I'm working on my car. But Monday, for your quiz, I'll be doing your quiz. You guys better have your answers. But Monday, I hope to be working on this car at some point. I am going to go over to my buddy's house. He's got a 55 Chevy hardtop that has a sniper on it that's never been fired. And I have to wire in the neutral safety switch on his T56. And then I'll get that and we'll program it. Bleed the clutch, I think, and then we're going to program the car for the first time and run it. Can't drive it. There's no windshield or interior, but, the last time I worked on this car, did any wiring to it, was 6 months ago, he said. And we were going to start it like the day after he bought a battery, which was 6 months ago, but the weather got crazy and, I think I had knee surgery or something. Something crazy went on. I forget. Like, neither one of us had, our schedules didn't. So now it's 6 months later, we're actually going to get this 55 going. I'll put up a picture of that 55 for you guys to see if I've got one. But, yeah, that's it. Anyway, enjoy your Saturday, and aloha. See you guys later.